What is autistic inertia and what does it actually look like in real life? Let's talk about the term first, and then I will share some real life examples from people in the autistic community. This definition here of autistic inertia is from autisticinertia.com. And it says autistic people tend to stay on one task or no task at all unless stopped or started by a major outside force or tremendous act of will. It applies both to getting started on a task or focus, as well as stopping once engaged in something. So basically, an autistic person in motion wants to remain in motion, and an autistic person at rest wants to remain at rest. And I'd love to know in the comments if you have an example of something from your life that you could share if you're resonating with this idea. So here are some real life examples I found from autismunderstood.co.uk, and I will put that link in the description if you want to check it out. The first one says, I'm sitting on the sofa and not doing anything. My book is on the sofa next to me and I want to read it, but I just sit there as though I'm unable to move for several minutes. It's only when my sister walks in the room that I find myself picking up the book and starting to read. And I've shared this in classes that I've done, and it seems like a pretty common autistic experience where you might be sitting somewhere zoned out and you only realize that you've been doing this when another person, another human being walks by and there's some type of movement and you realize, oh, where have I been? Kind of snap out of it and come back into reality. The second example says, I'm lying in bed scrolling through social media on my phone. I'm desperate to go to the loo, but I just can't stop what I'm doing or get up and make the short journey to the bathroom. It's only when I'm about to wet the bed that I use all my willpower and set my body in motion. I noticed this to be true within our community as well, that sometimes things have to become an emergency or very urgent in order for us to act on it. And that's kind of what the definition was alluding to, that sometimes a tremendous act of will or force has to be exerted so that that change in state can actually happen. The third example here says, I'm thirsty and need a glass of water, so I go into the kitchen. There are no clean glasses, which means I will have to wash one. I didn't see this coming and hadn't built it into my plan of action, so I just walk out of the kitchen and continue being thirsty. I think this example also works well with ADHD behaviors because oftentimes you might walk into the kitchen with one objective, maybe getting a glass of water, but then you see the trash needs to be taken out and you take the trash outside and see a weed that needs to be pulled. And then your hands are dirty and so you decide to take a shower, and 2 hours later, you realize, oh yeah, I went to go get a glass of water and I didn't get a glass of water. Here's the fourth example. I want to do my homework so I don't get in trouble. The table is full of stuff. I need to find a pen. I need to find my school bag. I can't remember exactly what I need to do, and it gets too complicated in my mind. I don't know where to start, so I just keep on watching TV. So in this example, it's kind of a feeling of overwhelm, of not knowing where to start, of not knowing how to make the first decision or take the first step forward. And that feeling of overwhelm oftentimes keeps us in that rest state. And the last example I've got for you here says, I know that if I have a big assignment, like an essay, that I should do a little bit each week. I make a plan for doing some work on it every Tuesday, but when Tuesday comes, I just can't get started. The next Tuesday, I have twice as much work, so it's even harder to start. This goes on until I've only got one day left to write this huge assignment, and I have to stay up all night writing it. And again, I think this is another one that can go hand in hand with ADHD tendencies of procrastinating until it's something that absolutely has to be done. The information that I've shared here is just a very small snippet of an in-depth class that I run on autistic inertia and demand avoidance. I actually have that class available on demand, and I will put a link to that in the description if you're interested in doing an autistic deep dive on this subject. If this video was helpful to you, I'd love it if you could give it a thumbs up and then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new stuff. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.